Hey, Luke here with a very special guest all the way from Playground Games, art director Ben Penrose.
Hey Luke, yeah, it's nice to be here.
And we are playing Forza Horizon 2, obviously, which, depending on when you watch this video, come out several days ago, or depending on what part of the world you live in. It's out in a couple of days down here, but it's out now in the US.
And the UK.
And the UK. Guys, first thing I want to know is, you released the demo a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. The response to that was fantastic.
Yeah.
Particularly in the comments on the articles on IGN, people were really adoring how much fun they were having. Now the game's out. What's the feeling? I know you've been out of the studio for a couple of days now, but what's the feeling like having it out and having such a great reaction from players?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's amazing. I've actually just been kind of experiencing it via the internet. I haven't had any direct responses from anybody yet, apart from yourself, because it came out while I was in transit on the plane, actually.
It's quite some transit, isn't it? Yeah.
26 hours.
26 hours.
Yeah, it's crazy. As far away from home as I think I can actually get physically. So. But yeah, no, I mean the response has been absolutely amazing. I mean it's beyond everything that we thought we'd, beyond anything we would have hoped for, definitely.
Yeah, right. And listen, one of the things I wanted to talk about. I want to talk about a few things, but one of the things that struck me most, and it's continued to strike me all the way through, is just how player-centric this game is everywhere, in every single way. Even the way, like, you can choose whatever championships you want to do depending on what cars you prefer to be driving at that time, but even up to and including the finale of the game itself. Whereas sort of traditionally you'd expect it's like, all right guys, this is the last race, this is the big grand finale, bring your fastest car because this is going to be all of the top shelf cars in the game. So, come along with your Hennessy or your Veyron or whatever. And instead, you subvert that entirely, and it's like, hey, this is a finale, great job. Bring your favorite car, bring whatever car you want, and we'll just make sure the field is, fair. It's like, that is brilliant. Because I just discovered this. This is this is one of the barn finds, the Miura.
Yeah.
I discovered this, and I'm like, you know what, this would be kind of a fitting car to complete the final race in. And so I just brought this along, and the field of opponents was,
was matched appropriately.
Was matched appropriately. It's just brilliant. Like, was this something? This philosophy, was this something from the get-go, or that you guys approached, or was it something that evolved over the course of development?
So I mean, there was definitely an evolution, when we were producing the game. But really early on, the design team sat down and they had a very single-minded sort of vision for what they wanted to do. I mean, there was loads of stuff that we learned when we did the first game, and I think there were things that we knew we could take advantage of with the open world setting, and this was a chance for us to really just kind of go nuts with everything we learned last time.
And I know from my time over at Playground a few months back, you took me through a lot of the tech, the lighting, which is fantastic, and the weather effects, which are quite remarkable. Just for listeners now, just give us a little bit of insight, say, into what was really the most difficult thing to get right. And so when they're playing it, they'll they might spot these sort of elements that you're talking about here, and maybe have a slightly more honed appreciation for just how much effort it took to get some of these things right. Yeah,
well, again, there were lots of things we learnt last time during production of Horizon 1, and there were loads of things we wanted to do with the lighting models specifically this time. So actually, just to reference like a couple of conversations that used to happen in the studio on a fairly regular basis was that process that we used to go through of deciding how to set up a sky, how to make all that stuff gel with the environment. And there was a lot of stuff where we'd have particular artists going around and colouring the sky in a particular way. So, they'd literally have to go around and choose the right blue for midday, and it was it's actually something that was really difficult to get right. So originally we started producing this kind of model of Earth's atmosphere to kind of alleviate that headache, and just kind of make the whole process a little bit more smooth. But the other thing that it does, which is great, is it just kind of gives a sense of authenticity to everything, I think, and there's a whole level of believability to the way the lighting kind of interacts with everything in the scene now that is just wasn't there last time, and it's really, really cool. And the fact that links in with all the stuff we did with the weather effects as well is is another bonus, really.
Yeah, right.
So I mean, the weather stuff. I mean, that really was something that we spent a lot of time.
Yeah.
Not just developing to get right, but also finding out how we were going to do it in the first place. There was this massive period where we were prototyping loads of different methods. So I remember really early on the artist that we had specifically on looking at the wet road stuff.
Yep.
Was making some very keen observations about the fact that the roads were drying differently to the way they were getting wet. It sounds really obvious once you say it, but when you're actually trying to do something like that, it's like, oh, okay, well, we need to invest some time into making this look right.
Yeah.
And I remember a couple of rendering engineers, tearing their hair out, going, "Oh God, we just thought it was going to be the one, and now you're adding all this nuance and but that's kind of our job as artists is to add all that nuance." And
speaking of rain, it's just started to sprinkle.
Yeah. There you go. And then that's the other nice thing. It's not just like a pre-scripted now it's going to rain.
Yeah.
Now it's not going to rain. It's all built off of a system that kind of gives you varying amounts of everything, just like you get in real life.
Yeah.
So, it might just get to a point where the clouds are looking a little bit threatening, and you get a few splashes, and then other times, you get the full blown storm.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, I mean, it does get a lot darker than this, and sometimes it's really like hammering down with rain.
Yeah, and that I love that kind of stuff. When it gets really, really heavy and it kind of just shifts the whole atmosphere of the world up completely, it's great. Actually, for me, added a whole new level of variety to everything we were doing, because you can experience everything in all those different conditions. It was really cool.
So, what is it? Is that probably the thing that you would enjoy people experiencing most, or is there something else about the game that you're really enthusiastic about, sort of hearing people's reactions to?
My real passion, the thing that we really got stuck into on this is definitely what we did with the lighting and the weather. But I mean, beyond that, the fact that I think we really managed to capture the spirit of a lot of the places we wanted to recreate is kind of my proudest kind of achievement and thing that I look back on the game now and go, we really nailed that, because right at the beginning we did it was a tough job, but somebody had to do it. We went out to all these places with cameras, and we went all over the place and filmed all the road trips that we did, and every so often we'd pull over to the side of the road and we'd be like, "Go guys, go!" And they'd all like scramble out of the car with the cameras, and they'd be climbing over cliffs and everything. We had a few tourists looking at us like we were mental, like going out into the middle of the road to get the perfect shot of a cliff, while there's like Italian guys on scooters screaming past with like half their family hanging off the back. And
I've never been to Italy, but I hear the roads in Italy are quite.
Oh yeah, they're insane.
Quite a brutal coliseum.
Yeah, like you've got to pay attention, definitely. Actually, there's a great set of videos that we've got back at the studio where people who were on the research trips, and they'd be coming back into the town, and they didn't realise, but there was this huge festival going on in Amalfi actually, and what was supposed to be a 5-minute car trip ended up being like 3 hours, because the whole road just turned into a huge car park, and everybody got out to watch a firework display that was happening on the beach.
Oh, right.
Which actually became like part of the inspiration for the firework display that we have going off over Amalfi.
Every night, basically, yeah.
yeah. Those guys they're party animals. But there's all of those moments are all sort of captured on video. So we've got our own set of outtakes back at the studio. People just losing their minds over ridiculous traffic jams. I don't know. One of the nice things about producing a game is you can get rid of all the traffic jams.
Well, that's true, yeah.
Because that wasn't much fun, to be honest.
I do like. As really pleasing as this game does look during the day, I think at night it really sings. With the light and the fact that you can just knock down a lamppost and it just instantly darkens the entire area.
Yeah.
And just that sort of pop of the fireworks off in the distance, and I think it really sings at night.
Yeah, and that's something that was really made possible this time by the shift to the new platform.
Yep.
We could actually start throwing around loads of dynamic sources for the first time. I had loads of fun with that, and the fireworks actually have. They actually emit light, like on the previous platforms you might just show a nice little effect, but this time you actually get like a pop. I don't know whether you've been in the auto show, but even those lights that hang over the top of the roof, as they sort of flash over the car, you'll see it kind of like dancing in the paintwork.
Over the bonnets, and you see like the reflections of the lasers and laser shows and all that sort of stuff.
Really cool. This whole sort of next gen stuff, for an art director, it's just kind of it's like a brand new playground. It's really, really
it's
cool.
true. I guess, and I think one of the things about racing games is that they're so. In terms of the genres that benefit most from new tech, racing games have to be up there.
Oh yeah, it's kind of a tradition, isn't it? Almost.
Yeah.
You kind of show off exactly what you can do by rendering cars as photorealistically as possible. Nice.
Just like, I mean, sorry not to. I know you talked about this when I was over there in the middle of the year, but like, just the soft edges to the headlights and the way it's just like dancing across the long grass on the side of the road here. Mm-hmm. It's just brilliant.
Yeah, well, that chromatic aberration.
Chromatic aberration. Yeah, that's the term I was trying to dig out of you.
That's the car team are very picky about their chromatic aberration. They want to get it right for every single car, because different cars have different headlights, and it depends whether it's the xenon stuff or the old bulbs, and we try to, as much as possible, capture all the kind of feel of all those different types.
Yeah. I love seeing the headlights in the distance and all that sort of stuff. There was one thing I did want to sort of ask you about the lack of utes in this game. Come as quite a blow to me, especially considering I brought it up several times when I was over there. So if there was one thing that you could take home,
it's that.
It's that. But other than that, very impressive. Very impressive. A lot of fun. Not quite enough utes.
Well, that's unfortunately it's not. That stuff doesn't really come into my remit as decisions to be made, but I'll definitely pass on the message.
Excellent. Thanks, Ben. I know you've flown a long way just to be here today. I mean, it's really appreciated. I'm sure there's no other reason for you to be down here. But if everything else, Forza Horizon 2, you're already in the right place. Stick with IGN.
Thanks.